not going to disappoint. I'm going to disappoint you. The reason I'm going to disappoint because I don't know much about this field. That's number one. But I think I want to thank Vikas, and thank you. I know you for last 23 years, and I've seen him exactly like that. He's one of the few writers, matured, non-controversial, intellectual person. India is a very vibrant thing. And I want to, we have a Jayesh Ranjan. I'm telling honestly, we're proud that we have state has got a dynamic minister and dynamic bureaucrat, both driving as a pillars of for the state growth. And I think that's something which other state doesn't have. We have two leaders of these visionaries for their state. I think that's a very privilege to have such people in the state. So it's a pure policy mediation that can make an impact in the society. Simple intervention that can have tremendous impact. I think, I was looking at it, and I want to thank ET to bring here to Hyderabad, really. And I think I want to thank AWS sponsoring, and I think they have a lot of money. I think they can invest a lot of startups here, a lot of startups have laboratories, so that all their data can go into cloud directly. So they have access to everything. Okay, they can, see how simple thing, your laboratory, all the data can just fly into iCloud, and now AWS can have all the data with them. So that's a phenomenal. See, it is going to change. I think, the Hyderabad has got 5-6 pillars, very important. Pharma, number one. Biotech, number 1, 2. Vaccine, number 1. We are probably one of the top 3 in the world itself in the vaccine field in Hyderabad. And then you look at medical devices, and you look at the IT, and I think you have an academic institutes, including artificial intelligence and digitalization, everything. Even degree in IIT offers a digitalization degree in IIT. I think, it's a phenomenal. So what I want to say is, I was a startup, so don't think that, but I think you are exactly what we were 20 years back. The laboratory is like that now, 20 years back. Just imagine next 20 years. Now, it doesn't take 20 years hereafter. It's going to take only 5 years to leapfrog. So I thought, what I should tell. Should I tell in the internet literature, read something and then put some PowerPoint presentation, or share my own ideas of thinking, a different way of thinking of thing? Because that is important. You can always see in the Google a lot of things, what is there in the system. I think, as Jayesh Ranjan spoke about digitalization, it's very important. If Indian laboratory furniture, laboratory people, the equipment has to leapfrog, digitalization is one of the way. In that part is artificial intelligence, and machine learning is very critical. And I'll give two examples in last 1 month, what has happened in AI and machine learning in the clinical trial. I will share you some of the important observation in last 1 month. And, I think, a very good example, I've seen one of them is just came out last week, Nature publication, where they have shown the radiology reports, both the clinician, 2 radiologists evaluating a radiology report of a breast cancer, and they put in equipment and using artificial intelligence, machine learning in the laboratory equipment, radiology equipment, PET scan, whatever it is. And they found that you don't need 2 radiologists, you need only 1 radiologist if you have an artificial intelligence and machine learning. And they've done a clinical trial in UK. Okay? So that clearly shows that, yes, it's a validatable. The equipment can be validated for artificial intelligence and machine learning using a clinical trial basis, and 2 radiologists can become 1 radiologist using the same data. The statistical error is almost both are same, statistical error. That's a very significant in a way. And another one, about a month ago, Baidu is a Chinese bioinformatic company and IT company. They published in Nature publication shown how artificial intelligence using machine learning in an equipment and how DNA synthesis can be done and design an mRNA vaccine itself. It's an amazing algorithm. I'm telling honestly, I'm not able to even understand 1% of that algorithm. Okay? So there's too much of algorithm, and I even shared to IIT Hyderabad, can we just at least repeat that same algorithm in India itself? Simple algorithm. And I think that changes the game in the vaccine design itself. You look at the airport, when you go to US airport, they make you swab, small swab, taking a coat or watch or your suitcase handle, they swab and then put in equipment. Do you all know that equipment, what that equipment does? It just picks up the DNA and RNA. Whether you have visited any infectious disease area, or are you working in infectious, or any radiology lab, or any nuclear facility you visited. So that suitcase will tell you, or my watch or my code can tell me whether I'm gone to infectious area or otherwise into nuclear facilities. That the equipment tells. See how the laboratory things has evolving into very intelligently to moving in the direction of picking up even the nuclear and even the biological viruses and bacteria. So I think it's changing the field. And, and I think, what our Jayesh Ranjan, I think we really need a laboratory park itself. I'm telling honestly, you look at US companies, Thermo Fisher, Merck, KGA, Germany, they're bigger than a pharma companies actually. They're bigger than Cytivia. You look at acquisitions, have over $40 billion acquisitions. All of them, Paul, everybody merged. And today, becoming bigger and bigger. So that means they can control the market very easily. Okay? And marketing is a game. And I think globally. But I think we as India, as a country in the laboratory furniture, we are in the nascent stage. So you have an advantage. Being a nascent, one advantage you have, if you want to leapfrog the Thermo Fisher or the Cytivia and other people, Merck and everybody, you can, that's the only way is AI and machine learning and digitalization. That's one thing Indian startups can leapfrog into that direction and move to be unique. Okay, whether you're going to be acquired Thermo Fisher, that is a different matter, but certainly you have a game to change. And I think, I'll put some of the perspective. People will talk, oh, we don't have market in India. I can tell you one thing. Government of India has made Make in India program a serious in the medical devices. In PLI scheme also been introduced into medical devices issue. And I think we can ask for PLI into the lab furnitures. Nobody stops you. But we need somebody lead us in the room to take up that issue. And it's possible to achieve that. And also government has done intentionally, in all academic institute, government academic institute, you have to buy the equipment in the laboratory furniture from India under GEM portal. So that means the facilitation is given for you. If somebody, even an American company comes here and manufactures in Telangana, they can have an access to the entire academic institute government business. So that is a strategy now even big companies has to think of localizing the production. And I think, look at the equipment localization, like the way Chinese and Koreans have done, is amazing. Today, China doesn't even import 20% of the equipment, only DNA sequencer, proteomics, some few equipment only they import. But you look at in India, even we don't have good -80 freezers. That level we are still at a nascent stage. And I think, but that gives you great opportunity. Don't talk about negativity about India, but that gives an opportunity for a lot of people here to set up even small things and then start build on the businesses. And that is a business going to grow bigger than a pharma company. Instead of setting up a small pharma company, you're better off setting up in a laboratory furniture because less regulatory, you can get into the market quickly. Okay, that's something giving you a revenue model faster. But everybody doesn't have to get into biotechnology or vaccine or pharma. There's just so much of tremendous opportunity. The government has facilitated the process of GEM portal for the Indian Make in India laboratory furniture. Today, I think academic institutes are suffering actually. By having that class, they say we don't have good Indian equipment to be bought by the Indian company, by the academic institute. They're crying. We want to import from Merck or Paul, we were not able to do it, but Indian companies are not geared up to do those jobs to make it to happen. So it's not that I'm against a US company, but that also will ask the US company to partner with the Indian company and set up a manufacturing right in India or in Telangana and localize so that you can be part of these GEM portals purchasing an academic institute. And that is going to change the game because market is available in this country. There's nothing that we're short of it. But I can tell you honestly, the laboratory, we're in the nascent stage. And you look at pharma, in the pharma and biotech vaccines, if somebody artificial intelligence introduced in my QC equipment, DQC equipment and QC equipment, how the data can be even somebody variability, person is changed. My equipment can tell me, okay, there's something error here, introduced by a person there. You need to think smartly on these matters. If you think, you can beat a Thermo Fisher itself. Simple thing. And I think BMR, we have batch manufacturing records. If somebody can put an equipment, I can just enter the data goes into analysis and comes back and tells me that you have so many batches problem. This problem is because of individual, that person was there, and that individual or whether or whatever the issues are. Like look at microbiology. Is that changes in seasonal? Every month, the microbial population in a clean room area changes. If you have equipment, there are equipments now which can pick up the bacteria and viruses in less than 10 minutes, 5 minutes. And that can pick up and tell us, what are the load, what are the changes coming into the facility based on the month or seasonal problem. And I think that's a tremendous opportunity. Digitalization, what our secretary told me, Jayesh Ranjan, I was not believing in the beginning, honestly, I'm telling you. I'll tell you. I went along with Niti Aayog to France. There was a digitalization minister was sitting along with us in the lunch with Adar, R.S. Singh, and all of us were sitting there. So we asked, what is digitalization in France? He said, their digitalization only 5% of economy. Then I asked R.S. Singh, what is our digitalization of economy of India? He said, more than 30%. Okay? And then they were going to US. I didn't go for US, but they went to US, and how US is creating a barrier for, the security, internet security on UPI payments and all that. And they said, US is only 8% digitalization. That means we leapfrogged in the digitalization. And that digitalization can be put into, along with our laboratory things, you're going to leapfrog. That's my point in the end. And I was giving a foundation, IIT Hyderabad Foundation lecture. They're giving a master's degree in digitalization. I told, you don't have to look at the digitalization in India. The Telugu people, boom, boom, Pasavanna, the cow, in a Sankranti time, you make a music, it shakes like head. You have seen, anybody has seen? Share, okay, good, at least some people. It shakes, in the Sankranti time, well-decorated cattle, okay? He's got a chip, and you scan it, transfer 10 rupees to him. You see, we don't realize that. We think only Paytm and all that. But look at the village level, at a grassroots level, the digitalization has happened at even cattle. Okay? So we don't watch all those things. We think only Americans have done that, then we think, oh, digitalization is happening. So that's the sad part. So it is happening in this country at a grassroots level. And I think we have to be thankful that digitalization is going to have a big advantage for the new startups, where you can start straight away with that artificial intelligence. And we have a department in the IIT Hyderabad, a good department in IIT Hyderabad in artificial intelligence. How you all take the idea of what is existing laboratory, go and sit with the faculty, I have this one. Even medical devices, we have a medical device park here. You locate there, what is the medical devices, what they are doing, how I can add some diagnostic equipment. Somebody has got a meter sensing the ventilator. That ventilator can be connected to your, diagnostic purpose on some of the laboratory equipment, connected to that, and put in an AA into that. You see, imagination. You need an imagination now. But the problem is, we look at imagination from US. US does something we want to copy. But the imagination, every one of you have imagination power. You look at Golconda, I tell a very good example of imagination. Golconda, there was no Bose engineer, there was no IIT engineers those days. But somebody predicted at a ground level how sound can travel at 4 kilometers up and still sound travel. So that means imagination. So what you need is, don't blame the country, don't blame the city, don't blame our officials, our politicians. You have to blame ourselves. Because we are lack of taking a little bit risk. Risk is very simple. You told me, today from Hyderabad to Novotel came, we've taken 50% risk of life. Our chance of reaching home is only 50%, am I right? So we already taken 50% risk. So you need to take only 5-10% risk. Start imagining of your imagination power. Okay, Thermo Fisher made this equipment. This looks a little dumb here. They made it mechanical. But I want to add something else to this and make it better. And that is all in your hands. No policy, no research will be done. It is all your imagination power. If you incorporate that, you can do a phenomenal success of it. And I'm telling you honestly, I'm proud of you people because you are in the nascent stage. You can only grow. It will not go down anymore. We all going to face a problem of downfall. The pandemic is over, we will face a downfall. But whereas you are going to be in the nascent stage, you're going to take off. And I think, I'm really thanks to Vikas and giving me an opportunity to be here. Thank you. If you have any questions, burning questions, we'll route to argue or, fight on these matters. Thank you very much.